I hope I'm not messing up. I gotta figure out how to get these two together. I was intended to. All right. So Genesis 26:5. Just want to throw this in there real quick for those that don't believe that Abraham kept the law, statutes, and commandments of Yah. Genesis the 26th chapter, verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So right here is showing you what the faith of Abraham really is. This is the connection between old and new. This is showing us that Abraham believed that's what it says, that Abraham believed Yah and it was accounted unto him for righteousness. This is the evidence of his belief. This is what he believed. He obeyed my voice, kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So those that don't know or understand that the law did not just appear when Moses was on the scene. The law is eternal. The law is eternal. The law is eternal. All right. Let's go. Hebrews 10th chapter. Hebrews 10th chapter. Hebrews 10th chapter. Okay. Here we go. For the law having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year, continually make the comers thereunto perfect. For then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshippers once purged should have had no more conscience of sin. But in those sacrifices there is a remembrance again made of sins every year. For it is not possible for the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh unto the world, he saith, Sacrifice and offerings thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast no pleasure. Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me to do thy will, O Yah. Above, when he says sacrifice and offerings and burnt offerings and offerings for sin thou wouldest not, neither hadst thou pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O Yah. He take away the first, that he may establish the second. He had to bring the Messiah. He had to bring the Messiah. It's evident in the world today that the Messiah came. Why? Because you don't find any Orthodox anybody making daily sacrifices. those that keep the law of Yah, those that believe, that do not believe in the Messiah, you put yourself in a very, very compromised position. I hope somebody hears this and really pays attention. You put yourself in a very compromised position when you reject the Messiah. You reject the Messiah out of ignorance, because things that you really don't know and you have not been taught. But I pray that the Most High has mercy and opens your understanding and gives you an experience with him so you can receive the Messiah. Because you can't have the law without the Messiah in this day and age. That's where the problem lied in our forefathers. They had examples. Moses picked out 70 men that he knew, and the spirit that Yah gave Moses, Yah took from Moses the spirit that he gave him and spread it through the elders that helped him with this work. Why am I saying that? They had the spirit of Yah. They understood. Moses prophesied of the Messiah, that Yah will raise up a prophet like unto me. I'm quoting. Yah will raise up a prophet like unto me from among your brethren. Him shall you hear all things. So just because something is corrupted and Christians don't understand and they take everything out of context in the New Testament, quote unquote, doesn't make it not viable. It is highly necessity. It is the utmost necessity. We have to learn how to rightly divide the word of truth, rightly divide what the New Testament says versus what the law, and prophets and Psalms says. The Messiah quoted the law all the time. He said, I come not to destroy the law or the prophets. I come to fulfill. He said, heaven and earth will pass away, but his word won't pass away. Okay. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O Yah. He take away the first, that he may establish the second. In another place, it says the first Adam, the actual Adam, the second Adam, which is the Messiah, Yehoshua. This is the second. He took away the shadows and types. The shadows and types were the sacrifices. The shadows and types were the sacrifices. That's why all the sacrifices that they offered had to be unblemished, basically perfect lambs, rams, goats, whatever. All these different sacrifices, turtle doves, they could not be just any old thing. That's what got Cain in trouble. Because it's not the fact that he offered vegetation, he offered below par secondary vegetation. He didn't give the best. He didn't give his best. Yehoshua is the best. He is the best. Those sacrifices and offerings represented him. That was to come. He took away the first that he may establish the second. That was the first. By the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yehoshua HaMashiach once for all. And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices which can never take away sin. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Yah, from henceforth expecting till his enemy be made his footstool. For by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified, whereof the Holy Ghost also is a witness to us. For after that he had said before, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws into their inward parts, into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. Now, where remission of these is, there is no more offering of sin for sin. So, this is a quote. This is a quote. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days. This is Jeremiah 32. I believe it's Jeremiah 32. A second. Okay, give me a second. I'm sorry. Let me pause. Jeremiah 31, actually. But this shall be the covenant that I will make, will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Yah, and they shall be my people. That's Jeremiah 31 and 33. So that is a quote. Hebrews 10 is quoting Jeremiah. Still talking about faith, man. I hope y'all following me. Okay. Verse 19. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter into the holiness by the blood of Yehoshua, by a new and living way, which he hath consecrated for us through the veil, that is to say, his flesh, and having an high priest over the house of Yah, let us draw near with a true heart and full of assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure blood. Have our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. For he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin. So, Jeremiah 31 and 33 was only partially fulfilled on the day of Pentecost in Acts 2nd chapter. It was only partially fulfilled. It was only partially fulfilled. The fullness of that prophecy will take place when the two sticks come together. The fullness of that, the complete fulfilling of that scripture will take place when the two sticks come together. It was only fulfilled partially as it was in quote unquote Old Testament times. He gave only leaders, priests, prophets, a portion of his spirit. But the people of Yah did not receive the spirit of Yah. And just like when the Messiah came, he chose out the 12, and one of them was a devil, replaced with somebody else. And on the day of Pentecost, when they was all on one accord in one place, he poured out his spirit upon them that were in the upper room, and those that were eyewitness to it, they eventually received the Ruach as well. They became the spreaders of the good news, the fulfillment or the manifestation of the Messiah. So the fact that you don't believe in the Messiah is to your own peril. That's what that exactly meant when he said that if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. If you don't see and understand and don't have a motivation to accept the Messiah, follow after the Messiah, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, be baptized in the name of Yahushua, your keeping the law is in vain. You cannot have one without the other. You can't. It is what it is. And if you don't have, I pray the Most High's mercy upon you, that he will reveal himself to you. That you can receive the Messiah. Because that is he is the Spirit of truth. He is the Spirit of truth. All right, continuing on. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sore punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden under foot the Son of Yah, and hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace. Can you see? Can we see? You can't have one without the other. Our faith is in Yahushua. Yah is salvation. Yahushua means Yah is salvation. Yahushua means Yah is salvation. There's no escaping this. When you reject the Messiah, the Son of Yah, you reject the blood of the covenant. All those sacrifices and the sprinkling of the blood and all these things that the Torah speaks of. It's pointing to the Messiah. Those were the shadow and types pointing to Messiah. When Messiah came, he took those things away. And by faith, we accept those things. We accept him. We accept the law through him. We obey the law through him. Our faith is actions. Faith without works is dead. You can't say you believe and obey Yah and love Yah and don't keep his commandments. This is what faith is. All these things are elements of faith. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me, I will recompense, saith Yah. And again, Yahweh shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living Yah, but call to remembrance the former days in which, after ye were illuminated, ye endured a great fight of affliction, partly whilst ye were made a gazing stock, both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst ye became companions of them that were so used. When when we take on, when we accept all these things, you accept the law, you accept the Messiah, you're baptized. You, if he allows you to receive the Ruach, and you can't receive the Ruach without obeying the law. He said, the Messiah said, if you love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he shall abide in you forever. For he had compassion of me in my bonds. We were made like unto our former relatives and patriarchs and matriarchs that were afflicted. They were mocked. If you ever read the book of Maccabees, the woman that had the 7 sons during the Greek Empire, during the Greek Empire, they persecuted us. That in order for us to save our lives, we had to eat swine's flesh. They knew who we are. They know who we are. They knew who we are. They know who we are. We are Yah's witnesses. This woman and her 7 sons, each one was tortured because they refused to go back on the law of Yah, would not eat swine's flesh. Don't take those things as small things. Everything the Most High said that He gave us and in His law, there's no small things. It's all pertaining to our salvation. What He said He will do. He will keep us. He will deliver us. This is our faith. For ye had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyful the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, which hath great recompense of reward. Sorry. For ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of Yah, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. Now the just shall live by faith. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. Hallelujah. Okay. Hebrews 11th chapter. Hope y'all stand with me. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now this is where you gotta put this in context. This is the context of what was previously said. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So what comes after this is the context of what they're saying. So what faith is not saying praying for materialistic things. Yah said he knows that you have need of different things. And he is the supplier of what we need, our daily needs. Some need a car, but you don't need an expensive car. If your means are not where you can afford that type of car, and you praying for a whatever expensive car that you know you can't afford, that's not faith. Faith is not listening to a multi-millionaire preacher telling you to give seed offering, and all the whole time he's put in his pocket. That's filthy lucre, man. These are devils exploiting the poor, exploiting, in a lot of cases, their own people. We're not supposed to be paying tithes and offerings in these churches, and we really don't belong in these churches because they're not preaching you the truth. The camps, ABC camps, they're not preaching the entire truth. They're preaching some truth. Just like somebody said, why are they a 501c3? And they're supposed to be Israelites, Hebrew Israelites. Why are you under government rule when you know the government is a strong arm of the devil? Is a strong arm of the devil carrying out satanic will to manipulate, to deceive, to ultimately destroy Yah's people. Okay, here we go. I got not the hiccups with this gas. I got gas. Sorry, excuse me. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it, the elders obtain a good report. Now, what you got to take a look at, what you got to remember and look at is that in this chapter, it's pointing to every one of these people that it make mention of is in the law and the prophets and the Psalms. Watch. For by it the elders obtain a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yah, so that the things which are seen are not made of things which do appear. For by faith Abel offered unto Yah a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Yah testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yah had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased Yah. But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to Yah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So, without faith, without obedience to the law of Yah, without obedience to the law of Yah, and ultimately believing in the Messiah, accepting the Messiah as he is, the Son of Yah, being baptized in Yehoshua's name, studying yourself to be approved unto Yah, rightly a workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, taking on the power of the law, and letting him ultimately change your thought process, changing who you are, and practicing. Practice makes perfect. You can be perfectly good at something, and you can be perfectly bad at something. If you practice being bad or practice doing the wrong thing, you're going to be good at doing the wrong thing. If you practice doing the right thing, you'll be good at doing the right thing. That's the simplistic element of obeying the law. Practice makes perfect. But if you don't practice doing that which is right, then you'll be perfectly wrong. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Too many people complicate the word of Yah. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yah must believe that he is. He is what? Who the law said he is. Who Yehoshua said he is. And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Yehoshua said he will lead you and guide you into all truth. He said, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. You are my followers. You are my students. Indeed, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, and the truth shall set you free. But we have to continue in his word. Continue in his word. You ain't knowing that if you don't continue in his word, you don't know the truth. People misquote that scripture so much it just drives me up a wall. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. How the truth is going to set you free when you don't know the truth? He said, if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. Ye shall know. Why do you know the truth? Because you're continuing in his word. You are continuing in his law. That's truth. Then are you my disciples indeed. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But if you're not continuing in his law, you are not set free. You are still under bondage. You are still under the bondage of sin. Sin is the transgression of the law. By faith, Noah, being warned of Yah, of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became the heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went. He didn't know where he was going. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac, tents, and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise, his seed. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is Yah. Though through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. So in other words, saying is through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because of them, we are here today. We are their offspring. They speak to us by their actions, by their belief, by their faith. Their faith is carried on unto us. It transcends from generation to generation to generation. It does not die. They're asleep. They're not dead. They are at rest. These all died in faith, not having received the promise, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is an heavenly. Therefore Yah is not ashamed to be called their Yah, for he hath prepared for them a city. Not heaven. The promised land where he dwelt will be renewed. When the two sticks come together and we go back to our homeland, we shall dwell in that homeland peacefully. There will be no more war, and the wickedness of the world will cease to exist. Satan will be bound in the bottomless pit. Satan will be bound in the bottomless pit. In Revelations, it says for 1,000 years. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promise offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that Yah was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was a dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshipped leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment to kill him. First, killed all the children that were born in that time frame, all the male children. By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Yah than to enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of the Messiah greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured, as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. The first Passover, and leaving captivity. I'll say the first Passover in this manner. Sprinkling of the blood over the doorpost and the windows and the lintels around the door frames. Yah sent the death angel and passed through all the land of Egypt, killing all the firstborn of man and beast. And if they had not done that by faith, by obedience, it says, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. They would have been touched by the death angel also if they didn't obey. This is by faith. This is what faith is. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians essaying to do were drowned. They passing through on dry land. We can do it too. Let's overtake them. What happened? They was drowned. They was drowned in the sea. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and of Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, Daniel, quenched the violence of fire, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, established the edge of the sword out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens, whom women received their dead, raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sown asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, and tormented. Y'all heard of the Crusades? The Crusades? You studied the Crusades? You'll see all these things that just mentioned right here. The stoning, the sewing asunder, the all these different things that the hiding out, watch, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in desert and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. See? This is actually pointing to the Crusades. And in former times, actually, I take that back, because the different empires, the Babylonian Empire, the Greek and Roman empires particularly, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And these all have obtained a great report through faith, received not the promise, Yah having prove some better things for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. Pause. So it's showing us here all the things that our foremothers went through for the sake of obeying the word of Yah. Their faith, true faith in Yah. Faith is not praying over swine's flesh, lobster, shrimp, and saying it's sanctified because you prayed over it. That's not what that says. It says it is sanctified by the word of Yah and prayer. So if it's not sanctified by the word of Yah, prayer ain't doing you no good. Understanding that faith is not saying because you believe that you're going to heaven doesn't mean you're going or going to the kingdom. Saying that and you believing it in your mind is not faith. Believing it in your mind, if you are not living according to the word of Yah, no matter what you say in here, if your actions are not representing the law, statutes, and commandments of Yah and the Messiah, you are under strong delusion. If you believe that you can eat what you want to, go to church when you want to, worship on any day but the Sabbath day if you want to, and you still I believe in Jesus and all that. Ooh, I just bad taste in my mouth just saying that. That's not faith. It gave you the report in Hebrews 11 what faith is. All those patriarchs that this scripture mentioned, and even the ones it didn't mention, thousands upon thousands of thousands over millennia upon millennia, Yah is never left without a witness. That's what it meant by faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And it explains to us, by faith, they did this. By faith, they did that. By faith, by faith, by faith. What faith is, what faith is not. This is what faith is. Anything outside of this is not faith. Anything outside of this is not faith. To Yah be the glory. Let us study to show ourselves approved unto Yah. A workman needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith. We have to go back to the old landmark. We have to go back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yah. We have to go back. Believe in Yehoshua HaMashiach, be baptized. Walk in newness of life. This is the only way. This is the spiritual way. The law is spiritual. We are carnal. But by us keeping the law, our spirituality grows. Our spirituality grows. Now, does that mean we obtain all things that were lost unto us? No, there's so much that was lost to us that others know that we don't know. And that's why it's so important for the two sticks to come together. Others that are in other countries, mainly in the homeland where we come from, they know things that we don't know. And us here in the land of our captivity in the United States, South America, Europe, wherever we are scattered, we know things that they don't know. We've experienced things that they haven't experienced. They experience things we haven't experienced. They have an understanding of the word of Yah, the spirituality of Yah that we don't. And once those things we can come together, we can be as a people whole again and understand things in completion. This is what faith is and what faith is not. To Yah be the glory. To Yah be the glory. May Yah bless thee and keep thee. May Yah's face shine upon thee and be gracious upon thee. May Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Shabbat Shalom.